Bars that keep pouring drinks for drunken customers is one of the state's most serious liquor law violations.
But a Target 8 investigation found Michigan is among the most lenient in the country when it comes to punishment, with fines averaging less than $500.
So what happens when overserving leads to death? Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker's here with what he found.
Yeah, Brian and Sue, in cases where overserving at bars leads to death, our analysis showed that the average fine does go up by $63.88.
It's an insult to the people of the state of Michigan. Is what it is.
His daughter Meredith O'Brien was 22, a student at Grand Valley State University who wanted to work with nonprofits.
She was a good kid, never got in any trouble, very giving.
But on Mother's Day 2009, a wrong-way driver killed her just hours after drinking as many as 25 shots of liquor at a Wyoming bar. 3 years later, the Michigan Liquor Control Commission penalized the bar. $800 for selling to an intoxicated person, $200 for related charges, and a rare 2-day liquor license suspension. On the other side of the state, Brian Zaffer was also 22, worked at a Target store, loved to play softball.
And just really a great young man.
He crashed into a pine tree and died after drinking himself into a stupor at a Livingston County bar. A bar fined $600 for overserving and another $300 on related charges.
I mean, how can you put $900 on that smile?
2 deaths, 2 separate cases, 2 similar outcomes.
Maybe my son was irresponsible, but once you start drinking, you lose sight of, how much you've had and really how maybe bad off you are or whatever. And that's the bar's responsibility to say, wait a minute.
Target 8 analyzed all of the nearly 500 overserving cases against bars and party stores statewide in the last 5 years. The average fine for the 14 known cases involving death, $546.88.
There's definitely something wrong. They're not learning anything. They just keep right on going about their business.
In cases leading to death, the Liquor Control Commission imposed the maximum $1,000 penalty for overserving only once. That was at Hilliard's Corner Lounge in Allegan County. William Schertz was so drunk, records show, that the bar owner had to help him put on a snowmobile suit, helped him outside, and told a concerned customer, quote unquote, "That's why I have insurance." Schertz crashed his snowmobile at more than 100 miles an hour and died.
I don't want to discuss it.
You don't want to discuss it?
I'd rather not.
While most who died were those who actually did the drinking, Meredith O'Brien was completely innocent. She was headed west on Interstate 196 in Granville for her job at Victoria's Secret, 5:30 in the morning. Then a pair of headlights going the wrong way headed right at her, trapping her in a construction zone.
This guy come down the lane, she had nowhere to go. There were barricades on either side.
So she didn't stand a chance?
Nah. Nope.
It was 20-year-old Scott Sikkema driving that wrong-way pickup with a blood alcohol level of 0.15, more than twice the legal limit.
I had 2 beers and 2 shots. I went home and crashed. I went to my friend's house, crashed on his couch. The next thing I know, I got an airbag in my face.
He is in prison for drunk driving causing death. But this is the part of the story that was never made public. Sikkema had been drinking a lot at Magoo's on 44th Street in Wyoming. We tracked down the shot girl who served him that night.
He was very intoxicated, but he was drinking other drinks besides the shots that I was giving him.
She talked to us by phone. She was 19 then, says she was never trained to cut off drunks.
Your main focus is to sell all your shots and keep making more money.
She recalls Sikkema staggering. Should somebody have cut him off sooner?
Yes, I should have been educated enough to cut him off.
The Liquor Control Commission found the bar had overserved Sikkema 17 to 25 shots. The family sued the bar, got a $49,500 settlement from its insurance company.
I don't know how many people have to die from each bar. Maybe the head of the Liquor Control Commission or the head of the Attorney General's office, the Attorney General for the state of Michigan. If he had a family member die by a drunk driver, maybe things would change.
Now, the owners of Magoo's and the Old Hickory Tavern would not go on camera, but both questioned how much their bars should be to blame for the deaths.
And the mom in the piece, Ken, we were just talking off camera, she summed it up perfectly that she felt that her son did have some responsibility, but at some point in time, that responsibility then falls to the establishment.
I mean, that's what the law calls for. The law, I mean, and her point is that at some point the line gets blurred when you're drinking, but the line should not be blurred for that bartender who's supposed to be legally, keeping an eye out for that.
Right.
Yeah, the judgment for the person drinking, 17 to 25 shots in that case.
What about that practice of pushing the alcohol like that?
That's something that bars, I mean, they're trained. I mean, they're now trained. I mean, I was at a bar today that they trained everybody at that bar how to look for that. That's a story we're going to be having in the next couple of days. So.
All right. Look forward to that. Thank you, Ken.
Ken, thanks. Our investigation continues tomorrow morning on Daybreak. Relatives who lost loved ones in over-serving cases say the state ignored them, even failed to return repeated phone calls. And right now at woodtv.com, we do have an interactive map showing every West Michigan bar charged with over-serving over the last 5 years.